All right, we are back in the FiTech booth. This is always my first stop, my favorite stop, and there's a ton of new stuff that came out this year. Every year, I'm surprised that you guys are just constantly developing, listening to the aftermarket, figuring out what people want to get their cars into the modern age of fuel injection.
Absolutely.
So what did you guys bring this year?
With Offenhauser, we have a dual quad on a, what do you call it, it's a cross ram.
Cross ram, yeah. So this is kind of like the guys that like the DZ302 Camaros and stuff. This is kind of fit for them, right?
Yeah. We also have LT, but it's a direct injection delete kit. So yeah, you're turning your LT into an LS, simplifying things and making it run just, a little bit better than an LS because they have massive cylinder heads. They flow. You can make tons of power on just a cam.
And this is far more tunable. The direct injection stuff in its stock form has its limits, right? Yeah, and then this is also more accessible to, the regular customer. It's less moving parts. And then if you are familiar with LS stuff, this is going to seem really...
There's so many of these engines coming back into the junkyards. So, so you got to, you can grab a 5.3 or 6.2 and make 30, 40 more horsepower than the same LS. So, just because the cylinder heads are that much better.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy because, GM is definitely innovating on their next gen platform. Yeah. So, with LSs being essentially ubiquitous at this point, they're making new blocks and everything. So the new junkyard motor is going to be better, better flowing heads, and so you guys are making it accessible for the guy who wants to swap it.
Yeah, it's an affordable swap.
Nice. Cool, I like that.
We also have a new 12.3-inch dash. It's in demo mode right now, so the screen's going to be changing. But, these have app-based programming, so you can program the display, what's inputs, outputs, all that stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, the resolution on these is extremely good. You can even show videos if you wanted to. You can have intro screens and stuff like that.
And this is I'm an 80s baby, so this is hitting home right now. This is every GM car I got into in the 80s kind of looked like that, right? If you were lucky. Very cool.
Yeah, a little bit. I like the more the gauge looking ones.
Okay.
But these are.
Probably easier to read on a real performance vehicle.
Yeah, we also have drive-by-wire. We have our own throttle pedal and cast throttle body.
Okay.
But we also have billet throttle bodies and low-car pedals that we can sell with our kits.
Okay.
But drive-by-wire lets you avoid the hassle of making that cable work. You don't have the stiction issues that you can sometimes have with a cable.
Yep.
You can program how responsive it is and how quickly it moves and how proportional it moves to the pedal.
We've found out recently that that's a pretty big deal on a stick shift car.
Yeah.
You get something with a dual disc clutch and a lot of
power. You got to be just careful.
Yeah, so that's nice because you can program a little bit of delay into it, make the car a lot more drivable.
Yep, for sure.
Very cool. And that's 102 millimeters, so that's a big boy.
It makes all the power. We have our vintage 97 Stromberg, so those come with, you can buy them with single, dual, triple, 4, or 6 units.
Oh, 6?
Yeah, so you can do a 6-by on these.
Like a real hot rod setup.
Yeah.
I like that you guys have it mocked up on a flathead because
that's kind of the target.
Yeah, it's very hot rod-esque, and you do see a lot of those cars from that era. Tuning 3 carburetors is not for everyone.
Yeah.
So, and then people are putting more and more miles on this vintage stuff. So.
Yeah, and they're getting harder to make. With the electronics, you can kind of make sure that it's not hurting your motor.
Yeah.
You're not wasting a lot of fuel, and it's got way better starting and acceleration out of it. And a little bit more power.
I see a lot of the guys, they're just doing this for looks and they're plugging off the outside and only running the middle one.
Yeah. You can do that with this too if you wanted, but
No, but it's cool that there's just so much actual tunability and just bringing classic stuff into the modern age. That's why I love coming to this booth because I always see something that is, there's always another part of the classic car world that can be brought into the modern age. It's not just, your LS or your small block.
And we have some on the other side that will kind of go towards that theme that you were just talking about, where modernizing small blocks and big blocks, or actually pretty much anything with a with a 4150 carburetor flange, we have a 4-barrel drive-by-wire.
Oh, drive-by-wire in a 4-barrel flange.
In a 4-barrel.
That's pretty cool.
So that can make your, you can do the classic LS look, or we have them also with injectors in it.
Oh,
so like it can be a throttle body injection with our patented annular discharge rings, or you can have it as an air door only, but in the 4150 flange, so it doesn't. So it looks like has that look.
Yeah, but you can run port injection.
Yeah, you can run port. You can run port or wet.
And what are you guys doing timing wise too? I know you guys were playing with some stuff for like, dropping a distributor in and getting it to.
We have our 48X dual sync distributor. That's got like a 24X, but on a distributor ring, so it's got double of it.
And it's firing coil packs?
Yeah, it can do coil packs. You could also do a single coil if you wanted to, but most people are using that for coil per cylinder. But you also get the LS computer features, such as dual wideband, built-in transmission control, knock sensor inputs.
That's huge, because overdrive transmissions are the other part of it, right?
Yeah, you got to have an overdrive to go anywhere without losing your mind.
Yeah. So you guys are just a one-stop shop if you want to if you have even just your existing power plant, you have a car that has been built for a while and you want to make a big upgrade.
Yeah, you can make it look as modern as possible we have sheet metal intakes, or if you want to make your modern LS swap engine look classic, we have that. You can go both ways with it. So that's kind of the features that we kind of try to do is give you the choice of look modern or look old.
Very cool. I love it. Well, thank you for taking some time and showing us this. There's also a lot of stuff that you guys offer.
Yeah, we have oil pans, valve covers,
actual
filters,
parts.
Ignition distributors, plug wires, ignition coils. So it's kind of everything under the hood.
I love it. Shameless plug. We just did a 67 Chevelle that has pretty much everything on here except the oil pan. Yeah, there you go. Pretty much the whole catalog on it, and it fired up first start, and it's been running great. So really cool to come see all the new stuff. I'm sure eventually it's going to be on a ton of other RestoMods, but maybe one of our cars too.
Awesome.
Cool. Thanks, Jeremy.
All right, thank you.
All right, we're here with Rick Love, legend in the hot rod industry, and the only person you need to know about if you're thinking about air conditioning in your car, and so many more things that Vintage Air does. And so we want to show and feature some of the new products, some of the products you don't think of immediately when you think of Vintage Air. And then a big thing that I'm noticing right off the bat is that there's cars from a new era that are becoming classics that need air conditioning. So some of the things you were telling me earlier you're excited about is some of the control panels for some of the cars that you see so many times built, Camaros, right? First gen Camaro. But you guys are constantly improving upon a good product you already had.
We're really excited. We're debuting this new control panel. This is compatible with our old Gen 4 systems and our current Gen 5 systems. And a billet housing bolts right into the factory location on the center stack. And one new feature we've incorporated in this now is that it's got RGB lighting with the LEDs. So that gives you basically the way to sync this. If you've got a Dakota Digital, an RTX system or something, you can sync the colors of this control panel so it'll match match that lighting on the Dakota Digitals. If you've got another brand of control, like a Classic Instruments or something like that, this also has a function where it's a more of an incandescent light. So you get that yellowish incandescent light rather than, and you can also set it to the white LED that we have on our other screens. So it gives you a lot more flexibility to match what you're using throughout the car, which I think is kind of nice. And then, we're servicing more and more what I would call a later model car. I drive an 87 Monte Carlo Aero Coupe. That's my daily driver, right, every day. Aero Coupe yet. And the funny thing is, we were talking the other day about some stuff, and that Aero Coupe now is darn near 40 years old.
That's a classic car.
Classic car, right? And so we've got, obviously a built-in SureFit kit for that and everything, but we're seeing so much more of that now, guys that are using especially trucks, OBS trucks and everything.
They're huge.
Daily drivers. So we've got systems for those that function like an OEM system. So you can make your OBS truck or your square body or your 67 to 72 along with your Camaros into daily drivers. For what the cost of new vehicles are, you can build a really nice classic to drive every day.
Well, and what's hard to portray too is that your guys' panels, the feel of it, you know, like we could show it, but the feel of it is so much better than a factory one. And that's for a 60s thing. It's hard to improve upon that, but an OBS was terrible to begin with the feel of them, and you guys bring like just a real high-end feel to all your products. So that's something that they look great, but until you interact with it, you don't understand the quality.
Yeah, and I appreciate you saying that, because that's something we work really hard on. When we did the Ford GT projects, both the earlier ones and the later Ford GT, you know, working with the OEMs, you get access to some of these parts that you may not otherwise, and that's a big part of that tactile feel and the way things work. That's really important when you're driving. Again, the more you drive the car, the more important that is to you and everything.
And the HVAC in a car is something you interact with, and it can make you either enjoy your car or never want to be in your car. You know? It's a huge thing that people don't think about how important that is.
Oh yeah. You know, I mean, if you're going to enjoy driving your car, you want to be comfortable with it, right? I mean, you want to have brakes that you're confident in when you're in traffic. You want to have a sound system that sounds good. You want to have a climate control system that's going to keep you comfortable, whether it's wintertime, whether it's summertime. You know, you can get in the car with confidence and know you're going to be comfortable, and that's a big part of how things have changed in this industry.
And the speeds people travel at, you know, that's a big thing. Traffic has changed. And you guys have a cooling fan. That is like a modern cooling fan. No more are you paying attention to those signs that say turn your AC off when climbing the grade, you know? This
brushless fan technology, this is a game changer in our industry. And you know, everybody drives, when you're driving a later model vehicle and something like that, think about if you ever look at your temperature gauge.
You don't.
You drive, you know, if you're sitting in traffic for 15 minutes or something, you don't look down and check it. And the great thing about a brushless fan, number one, the performance is unmatched. And the other thing is it's a variable speed fan. So it basically responds to the load of your engine rather than
on demand.
On demand. So you know, when you've got an older electric fan, you may set your temperature for it to come on at 195. So okay, you set it at 195. The temperature goes up to 195, the fan comes on. Temperature drops down to 185, the fan goes off.
It's reactive.
It's reactive rather than proactive. That's exactly right. And this brings OEM technology in the same thing for some of your older vehicles. And it makes it a lot more fun to drive.
Well, one less thing. Everyone has been there with their classic car where they're just watching the temp gauge. You know? So
talk about that uncomfortable feeling. I'm worried, am I going to get stuck at 2 traffic lights here rather than hitting that first one?
Yeah, with this, go through the drive-through. Don't worry about it.
Exactly right. Exactly.
Very cool. And then your front runner is always just such a choice product. I mean, it's just high quality materials, obviously, but you guys are integrating also like everything from a full water pump that you guys make for like a small block Ford, and there's some other stuff that you guys are starting to come out with too, right? Like
we've got some accessories for them. Our newest front runner we've got is the one for the LS and LT. And it's a full, the casting is USA made. We do all the machining in-house, do our own water pump for it, use an OEM impeller, put all of our own for that. 170 amp alternator that's 140 amps at idle. And again, it goes back to that same thing. You don't have to worry about your accessories when you're idling. You've got enough power to support your accessories and everything. So we always worry about performance first with our front runners and stability and ruggedness more than we worry about, you know, looks first. And I think they're great looking systems to begin with.
They're really great looking, and this just reminds me of like kind of that OEM, you know, level of quality, because it's unitized, it's like modular. You don't have a bunch of you know, like spacers that you don't know where they go. So when you're bolting this together too, it makes it easier in that way.
It does, and that makes it more robust too. Like you say, it's you always notice the important things, and that's it. You look at this, there's no spacers anywhere. This bolts on. Each accessory has a saddle for it to bolt, even right down to the spring tensioner, and you don't have a bunch of spacers on there and everything. It's designed, you've got dual ports, whether it's easier to get your coolant out the side or out the bottom. That's we try to incorporate, again, we're car guys like the rest of us. Okay, what do we need on our cars? And that's what we try to bring into the marketplace.
Well, and you guys have so many high-end builders using your products too, that I'm sure you're getting that feedback trickle back to you as well. And then that just ends up, you know, benefiting the normal consumer.
Very much so.
The guy that is building his hot rod in his garage, gets all that stuff trickled down into his parts with you guys.
And our guys in R&D, our guys that work in our development department, they're all car guys.
Okay.
You know, they're all working on projects of their own. They all bring that to the table.
Yep.
And again, that's a big part, I think, and that's always been the case at Vintage Air.
And Coyote engines, they're almost all in their factory form electric power steering.
Right.
And the AC compressors they're not very easy to retrofit with. Sometimes they're CAN bus controlled.
Yep.
And so you guys have something to solve all that,
Yep.
but retain some of the other Coyote stuff as well,
You can keep your stock alternator because it's a good alternator. It'll supply, you know, it's an OEM alternator.
Okay.
So it's built to supply electric fans and the load that you've got.
Yeah.
So what we've done is add hydraulic power steering and then a smaller packaged compressor that'll work better in the narrower frame confines of a lot of the classic vehicles.
Coyote guys are already banging their head trying to fit that thing in, so you guys make it easier
Make
for
that
them.
a little easier.
Very cool. And then you guys have your lineup of the SureFit kits.
We've got our SureFits, and we've moved into we're Gen 5 with all of our Builder Series systems as well. And we've got 3 new evaporator kits. And here at SEMA, we're debuting the Gen 5 Super and the Gen 5 Compact and the Gen 5 Mini. The Compact's been out for a while. The Mini and the Super are being debuted here at SEMA. So we've had a lot of good reaction to them. The great thing about this now, and the Magnum we've had for over a year now, the Gen 5 Magnum. But the great thing about this now, there's one controls package. It's all Gen 5. There's a single controls package for the entire Gen 5 line. So you can even use one of our smaller systems and use OEM controls or any of our SureFit controls that can be modified. So it's bringing uniformity to all our controls packages.
It's very plug and play at this point.
Yes.
And so what I used to hear was get the biggest evaporator you can fit in your car. But this is not that big, really.
Yeah, and that's the great advice all the time. I mean, your evaporator absorbs heat, and so you want to use the largest evaporator that you can when you're doing that. So that's always the case, but depending on the cab side of the car, size of the car, what you're trying to cool and stuff, again, you're always going to want to use the largest one that you can.
Very cool. And I'm seeing just up here, you guys have stuff for Datsuns now. So that's
Yeah, we've actually expanded our line a lot this year.
That is cool.
And that's one thing, everybody's idea of a classic car is a little different, but man, there's not much more classic than a 240, 260, 280Z. And very few of those cars were air conditioned from the factory.
Right, exactly.
And the air conditioning system in there was not all that good to begin with. So
also European cars too.
And also some European cars. Yeah, we've got a sister company called AC Solutions, a part of Vintage Air, and that deals with BMWs and Porsches. So we're expanding our line and our coverage through.
Something I never knew was that in Europe it was very rare in the 80s to get a car with AC. And the ones that did, like you said, they didn't work very good.
They didn't work that great to begin with.
Well, awesome. What do we have here? This is more
just
Gen 5 controls?
Gen 5 controls, kind of the louvers, the upgrade louvers we have available. We still have the tried and true under dash unit. And if you've got something where you just need a heater, we've got a heater defroster as well. So this is something that's really cool, that's really helpful for the builder. This is one of our mock-up units. And basically what this is our Gen 5 Compact. The unit here, this is a lightweight molded one, has the motors on it, has the connections for your lines, all of the features that your real unit has, but real lightweight. So you know what's going to fit. You can make all your brackets, you can make all your hoses in line.
So if you have like an oddball car that you guys don't already have a SureFit kit for, they can essentially rent this from you?
Yeah, we do an exchange program. Yeah, we'll charge you for it. When you send it back, we credit you.
Okay.
A lot of our dealers keep them in stock as well. So if you're close to one of our distributors, they keep them in stock too, and they do the same thing. They have a loaner program for
Gotcha. Yeah, I would recommend that because the measuring tape in 3D space isn't always the easiest thing to work with.
Yeah, and the neat thing is even now, you can run your AC lines from this and make all your brackets, get that in there, and you know everything's going to be fitting when you get it there.
Very nice. And there's even little things. We brought a Chevelle to SEMA that we're obviously using Vintage Air on.
Right.
But we completely shaved the dash. And so when we filled the metal portions, there was nowhere for the defroster to come out. And I'm like, well, let's see what Vintage Air has. So we were able to add some of these in the dash. And now when you look in, it's a leather-covered dash with a high-end billet vent. And a lot of people don't notice, but it's just little touches that you guys are able to essentially suit someone like to build. You know, there's so many individual parts that if you want to mix and match them, you know, with all the nice
it's the little
vents and
things
stuff.
like that, again, and it comes from us being car guys as far as I'm concerned. Those are the kind of things, those little detail stuff, come from customers as well. We always take those suggestions from customers. What can we do to improve our product line? Little details like that make a difference always when you're putting together a package for a car.
Well, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
It's really cool to see all these products individually. I feel like we've shot so many cars today that have your product in it, and that's nothing new for you. So I'm sure today, SEMA, you know, you get to interact with your customers, but you also get to see your product in use.
We love it.
And always in new, different ways too.
And that's one of the coolest things for me at SEMA or any of these events is getting out to see some of the cars, what our customers have done, and how they've installed our systems and the little tricks they do and things like that. It's really cool. I mean, again, that's one of the best parts of SEMA for me.
I love it. Well, thank you, Rick.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank
Always
you for
good
your
to
time.
see you. Thanks for coming.
Thank you. All right, guys, we are back again in the QA1 booth to look at some of the new products that they're featuring. Every year, you guys come out with cool stuff. I feel like you guys are on the leading edge with keeping up with the aftermarket and kind of the next big thing and producing some of the really cool parts for the next popular platforms. I'm here with Brian. He is tech support, and he's going to go over some of the really cool new products. Right off the bat, NBS trucks. If any of you guys are truck guys, you know that this is the hot new thing. You were telling me earlier, these are the next generation of trucks that haven't been messed with too much. So you get into the older vehicles, the C10s, stuff like that, they're almost always modified or they've been worked into the ground. This platform, you can still find really clean ones, and they really lend themselves to performance handling upgrades, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, so let's start at the front end and tell us about what we have here, because it looks like you guys do a great job of featuring too, so we can immediately identify your guys' parts and then stock frame type stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're super excited about our NBS kit. Basically went through a total redesign, changed it over to a coilover system. In our kits, we're offering obviously lowering spindles, upper and lower control arms, 1.5-inch sway bar. It's kind of like the largest sway bar that we've ever had. So it offers a lot of rigidity and maintains that nice drive plane going through corners. We also kind of highlighted a DSE rack. Kind of tightens up the steering quite a bit. Kind of gets that sporty feel again. So, so basically you can kind of see the upper spring perch has been modified. We cut the hole in that, so we're able to bolt on a component that actually brought that to a full coilover system. So,
yeah, I'm noticing right off the bat, coming from like doing a lot of muscle cars, this all looks a lot heavier duty for a truck. So,
yeah, the NBSs are a lot heavier. I mean, you're looking at about 4,500 pounds. So we had to actually strengthen up our eyelets on our bushings just to make sure you can handle the weight and the punishment that you're going to put them through, right? So it's definitely was needed on these heavier trucks. So.
Yeah, that is something I never really thought about. Muscle cars can be big and people tend to think they're heavy, but generally they're kind of big empty shells. It's hard to see one that's over 4,000 pounds really, but you get into a modern car with you know, different type of frame construction that may be a little more rigid and thicker, and then it's a truck. So everything's heavier, and you guys account for all that with spring rates and the eyelets being beefed up. That big sway bar, that is not something I'm used to seeing. That big of a sway bar. So
I saw the first one and come out, and it's like, wow. I mean, our biggest one before was 1 3/8. So that does offer quite a bit of stability, you know, for cornering.
Very cool. And something to mention too, these are LS powered, so you're not having to swap an engine. You get the good engine right off the bat.
Yeah, it's a great 5.3. We're looking on kind of modifying that and getting some more horsepower under it. We just wanted to get the suspension in there, get the ride height, get everybody excited about that new product line coming out. So
I like that, because if you have the power plant and the overdrive and everything you already need, well, what's the next modification? It's the suspension. Make that thing handle. So you're already ahead of the game when you get one of these.
Exactly.
And then no more leaf springs, right?
Yeah, this is a total rear suspension improvement, total solution. So we eliminated the leaf springs. We also do, for some customers that are not looking for quite the drop level, we do have a relocation kit and basically a drop shackle kit. So that's another option if a customer is not looking to actually upgrade to a full coilover system or a torque arm. So But the kit that you're seeing right now is our full solution. It does include both cross members. GM cross members needed to be replaced anyways. They weren't made too well, so obviously we kind of took note of that and made sure that a customer starting out on a great note, you know, to install this.
I'm sure this adds a lot of rigidity too into the chassis, because from the cab back, there's not too many, like you said, the factory cross members were kind of lacking, so this is going from changing, the purpose of the truck was maybe to haul a load, to now to get it a little stiffer so that it can handle a little better and make full use of all your guys' upgraded suspension geometry.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
Little side note on the front one too, we're also able to have the brackets for your evaporator canister, just for emission standards.
Very nice.
If your truck came with that, we do have provisions for that mount, so you don't have to worry about mounting it at a peculiar location.
Right,
so,
that's very cool. You guys thought of everything. And then the notch as well, right?
Yeah, this is a new design C-notch that we did. We wanted to make sure that we're obviously maintaining stability on that frame. It was going to be just as strong, if not stronger, than stock. So it is a fully encapsulated C-notch bracket that actually is totally bolted on. We did include, obviously, all of our nut plates. So it makes it super easy for a customer to install that.
Yeah, you're not trying to blind the wrench in there to get the other side of it.
The electrical tape on the back of the wrench,
all the stuff, all the old tricks. Yeah, I mean, this is something you could do without a lift, essentially. If you took the bed off, this thing is super easy to install at that point.
There is a little bit of modification on the bottom of the box. There's a cross member on the bottom of the box that's about 1 inch tall that goes right about here. So obviously notching that out for the C-notch bracket, so your box would actually sit right on that. And also making sure that obviously the lowest of low drops, you have plenty of clearance so you're not running into the bottom of the bed.
Okay, very cool. And the upper torque arm mount is integrated into the rear diff cover and the lower one?
Absolutely, yeah. Okay. So obviously pinion angle is fully adjustable. We're also including a lot of the brake line brackets, so it's going to be super easy for a customer not even to have to crack a brake system apart. They can actually just bolt that right onto their existing truck.
That's very cool. That makes the project more approachable, just all those little things. Sometimes you can get into a full suspension upgrade and the relocating or getting rid of the tabs or figuring something else out is kind of what seems daunting a lot of times. So having that all covered, you guys are just constantly improving, thinking of the next best thing. Very cool.
Just those frustrating things. That's where are you going to source from, right? Where are you going to get it? We should just include it because we're running into the same issues actually going through R&D, right? So that's just the next level of service that we're providing our customers. So
well, and that's what I love too, because before you guys ever put anything out, I'm sure this thing has quite a few miles on it, and like you said, you did a lot of the fitment and
the validation,
validation and addressing, like you mentioned earlier, there is slight differences between 99 and 06 in these chassis. So you guys developed a kit that will address all those, and
absolutely
very nice. Okay, so we briefly touched on 3rd gen F-body stuff last year because this is where all the new hot rodders are going to the newer platforms. These cars are getting up there in age. But they did have some advantages as far as the engineering that was designed into them initially. They were handling-based cars, they kind of always were. But now, with the technology you guys have, you were able to take that and really kind of reinvent how it all works with a really intricate kit. Let's talk a little bit about some of the unique features. There's different packaging things than what I'm used to seeing on a muscle car. So let's go over some of that.
Yeah, so obviously this is a full kit, full front kit that we have displayed here. Includes our Wonder Bar, our Sway Bar, obviously our K-member, and this one's set up a little bit differently. So this has been set up with our spring sliders. It does have a redundant, kind of a dummy spring. It doesn't really have any valving properties, but this is where you do all of your ride height adjustments.
So it's threaded, just like a coilover would be to be able to run the coil up and down?
Yep, so we're able to take the spring off the strut assembly and gain more clearance. So you're able to run a much wider wheel and much wider tire, get better caster camber adjustments. So that definitely opens it up, because that has been kind of an issue with the 3rd gen for many, many years. So.
Yeah, kind of that unique kind of combination of strut and spring is something that, was kind of specific to that car. You don't see it in a lot of other applications. So
Right.
Very cool.
And last year, this was our spotlight new product. But the nice thing about the 3rd gen is we really wanted to offer a full solution for a customer, so they didn't have to source different manufacturers to actually, outfit their car. So that was our main key and our main focus.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully we nailed it, because obviously a lot of our customers have a lot of positive feedback right now. So
I believe it. And those cars were torque armed to begin with.
Yep.
So you guys were able to build off of that.
Yeah.
And make it just improvements over that, right?
Yeah, and the big key on that one too is obviously our transmission cross member.
Okay.
With those, you remember the torque arm was mounted to the back tail shaft,
right.
Tail housing of
right.
the transmission, so it wasn't as strong as we really needed once you start applying more horsepower. So we were able to design a cross member with an integrated drive shaft loop if you chose.
Okay.
So, and it's all basically, you can buy it in any respect. So
nice.
if you just need a cross member, you can add on a drive shaft loop. So
okay.
it's all able to be modified to your needs for sure.
And that'll accommodate aftermarket transmissions as well, right? If people want to upgrade their transmission, it makes it that much easier.
Yeah, 4L60, 4L80, turbo 400, turbo 350, power glide, T56. So we did all the fitment for pretty much everything. That
whatever you want to do. You want to go drag racing, road racing, it'll all fit.
Yeah, it's great.
Okay, moving into one of the more classic platforms that I've heard sales numbers on first-gen Mustangs that are in the millions.
Yeah.
So there is an abundance of these cars out there. Mm-hmm. They never handled that well. You hear a lot of stories from Carroll Shelby complaining about them.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you guys have a full bolt-on kit that corrects a lot of those inherent issues that the cars had. And it's on display here. You guys have the shock tower out of one of those?
Yep.
Okay, so basically all the mounting points are kind of in the factory location, but that's about where it stops, right?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, we're just picking up on obviously all the stock mounting cues like you'd mentioned. Going to a full coilover system. We redesigned a new upper control arm, lower control arm. So you remember those control arms that had the strut bars?
Yep.
That was a separate component. We were able to integrate that into one component.
Oh,
so
very
similar
nice.
to a B-body GM.
Okay.
So they had the single point contact with the frame. So now we're able to actually, get that to articulate a lot freer and move a lot better.
And you're able to still use this as an alignment point too?
Yep, absolutely. Yep. So there's a full ball joint up there assembly that basically corrects a lot of the stiffness in that front suspension for sure.
Okay.
So.
And this is a factory spindle too, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, so people can maintain that portion by whatever disc brake upgrade they want for a factory spindle.
Yep.
And it looks like if you're a purist and you have a car that you don't want to cut up, it looks like this is full bolt-on. It maintains the shock towers. You're not really cutting anything.
Yeah, this is the stock upper shock tower.
Very nice.
A lot of those kits that definitely have to do a full, removal of that to actually put new components in to strengthen that and upgrade that. But we're trying to actually just kind of tailor to our customers out there that just want a great solution, but it's a little bit less evasive. So.
Yeah, definitely. And this is something that in a weekend you can completely transform how your car drives, basically.
Absolutely, yeah.
Very nice. And you have rear options for this too, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We can kind of head over there and I can show you that.
Okay, so you can kind of see a little bit more of what we were saying about integrating the strut rod to the front arm here.
Yep.
And then in the rear, this is a big change. So this is
huge.
No leaf springs again.
Yeah, so this is a total leaf spring delete. So we're basically going to a 4-link similar to our F-body that we released last year.
Okay.
First gen, second gen, and X-body. This is available with our 9-inch housings.
Okay.
So obviously that includes 31 spline axles, 3-inch long studs. Everything's included in the kit. The studs are installed already in the axles.
Okay.
So all you need is a brake system, which is basically a big Torino 2.5-inch offset, and then your third member with your desired spring or with your desired gear ratio.
Yep.
And then you're set to go. I mean,
very nice.
So,
yeah, the Ford guys have the luxury of having a 9-inch from the factory.
Right.
It's the rear end everyone puts in everything else. So but even then it's upgraded from the Mustang stuff. It's the big end. That's kind of the industry standard now for 9-inch end housings. And then because your guys' housing can accommodate almost anybody's center section, there's a ton of options there too.
31 spline axles, as long as it's that fitment with the carrier, you're good to go.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so picking up on 4-links, this is your first-gen F-body 4-link. I think this is kind of one of the first 4-links you guys developed for, which is essentially a unibody car. So it does need the same help as like a Mustang would.
Yes.
But everything looks like it's all integrated in this package.
You're exactly right. So yes, this was our first entry into the 4-link kits with our 9-inch housing. It has just exploded. Customers have just been loving this, just simply the ease of install, without sourcing a housing from another manufacturer or whatever it is. But this is designed with our 4-link kit in mind. So it's a nice transition into a fully adjustable rear suspension, just like we talked about in the Mustang as well. So.
And this housing is pretty beefy. This is not like a normal just stamped steel. In some places it has those components, but it's all welded together. It looks like there's probably internal gusseting.
Yep.
And then one of my favorites is the ring around, the
jack pad.
Yeah, exactly. Because whenever you're jacking these cars up, even if you have a 9-inch, you can jack it up from there. But if you have a drain plug, it can be a problem. So serviceability is something you guys always build in as well.
So all of our housings come with all our options. So like you mentioned, the jack pad and the drain plug, the fill port, and we also have the vent that's already welded on our system. So
very nice. Yeah. Somebody could order this. This shows up to their door, and they just completely transform the rear end of their car.
Absolutely.
Very nice. Yeah. And then same thing. This is probably adding a little bit of rigidity into the back of that unibody car that doesn't have a lot of bracing back there, basically.
Absolutely. Another thing too, obviously for the first gen, we're actually putting the mounts for the sway bar on, welding those on, so it's a little bit easier to actually install that rear sway bar too. So.
And then the trailing arms, they use the factory leaf spring front pickup points?
The cups,
Okay.
So on the F-bodies, on the first, second gen F-body, and the 68 to 72 X-body, they just pick up the same cups. So if you do the subframe connectors, we actually include a brand new cup with new clips, new bolts. So you know as well as I do, if you loosen up any of those bolts, you're going to crack those clips, right?
Yeah, so, unless you have a really pristine car, they're usually one and done.
Right, exactly.
So this will fit in an X body as well, Nova?
Yes.
Okay, very cool. I know those cars share a ton of stuff.
Yep.
Not too many differences underneath a Nova and a Camaro. And then the one thing I was going to ask too, so with all the adjustability on it, obviously pinion angle's no problem, but wheelbase too, right? It's slightly adjustable as far as that goes.
Yeah, it's a good point. So our lower trailing arms are fully adjustable. As you know, depending upon the ride height, we kind of design those after our big wheel customers.
Yeah.
So as you raise that ride height, obviously your wheel moves forward and your wheel opening, right? So now we need to center that up so they can maximize their wheel size.
Okay.
So we're basically tailoring that to a lot of our kits now, just to give that adjustability to all of our customers, just making sure that we can actually dial that in so it's perfect. So,
right.
Because we are pushing the boundaries on wheel size.
Yeah, I was going to say, I noticed you guys are kind of ahead of the game on the big wheel stuff, and that is a unique challenge that I never really thought about with that, is that, when you raise or lower a car, inherently that rear wheel centering position will change.
Absolutely.
Very nice.
So small adjustments that make a huge difference on the final product for sure.
Okay, so full disclosure, one of the reasons I was very interested in this product is because our shop truck has all your bolt-on arms, coilovers, mounts, the full rear kit from you guys. So once we installed that, the truck handles amazingly, but we still have a stock steering box. And when you guys came out with this, the number one thing that stood out to me is that I can retain all those parts that we already installed and put it on your guys' new crossmember.
Yeah, that's a nice high point, because obviously we're trying to tailor to a lot of different customers, and they all have different, obviously, budgets, right?
Right.
So starting out with that coilover kit is a huge deal, because obviously you're kind of slowly getting into a full system, so you don't have to rebuy any products.
Right.
So like you mentioned, installing that in your truck, and you can get that full ride height adjustability right away. And once you want to go to that cross member and obviously go to full rack and pinion steering, that's a $2,600 price tag instead of a full $5,000 right out of the bat. So
well, I think it's a natural progression. Like just firsthand experience. Once I got a taste of the difference that made, I was like, oh, we're lacking in the steering department now, because you want to start using that suspension. So once you get into those performance driving situations, you want your steering to respond as well. So right now, what we have is a truck that out-handles its steering, and you guys have the perfect solution for that.
Right, yeah, that's, I have a lot of customer calls that basically they're sweating because they're thinking they have to buy the full kit again, and when I share that news, obviously that's a relief, so, and they appreciate that for sure. So.
Very nice.
Yep.
Well, very cool. Anything else? Your guys' booth is full. It's packed full of people, which is good news because I mean that just speaks for itself.
Yep.
You guys are also you have Speed Tech performance for full chassis options.
Correct.
Detroit Speed has been added into your guys' lineup. I know that was something last year. We featured a lot of Detroit Speed products for Fox bodies.
Yes.
And that's kind of another emerging platform, same as the third gen Camaros. So it was cool to see that you guys are tailoring to that, and you have all different levels, everything from Speed Tech's extreme stuff to the QA1 stuff that could be bolted on.
Right.
And then Detroit Speed has kind of a mix of those flavors as well. So.
Right. Yeah, last year having Manufacturer of the Year, it's a hard thing to follow up with, right?
Yeah.
We were super honored to get that award last year. This year, with DSE being on board full, we were able to get a great award over there for our Mustang kit.
Yep.
So we're super excited for those guys to really get back to shows and show everybody that DSE has never gone away. So
right.
we're trying to create, like you'd mentioned, a lot of different options from start to finish on a full chassis, like you mentioned from Speed Tech, to our bolt-on stuff that we can actually do in your garage at home. So
very nice. I mean, you guys are dominating the performance handling area, and you guys are listening to your customers. That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
That you're not just staying in the known realm. You guys are always pushing the limits. Every time I come, there's something new and cool.
Right.
So it's always good to come and talk to you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time today.
Yeah, we appreciate your support for sure.
Yeah, likewise. We're going to keep using your stuff because it's proven. There's just nothing better. All made in the USA, which is also a plus for us. We love doing that. So.
And the biggest thing for QA1, go drive it.
That's it. All right, guys, we are in the Blueprint Engines booth with Kel, back again, but bigger and better this year. We reached out to you, and we are trying to represent the big three of muscle car brands.
Yeah.
You guys came through and powered all these vehicles that we brought, but Dodge, Chevy, Ford, we didn't miss any bases, and you guys have it covered with some of the coolest drivetrains, starting with the 70 Charger. This is your guys' Gen 3 426. This thing is a riot to drive. You know, we could look at the engine, talk about the specs of it all. I can just tell you from where I was sitting driving this thing, it absolutely performs. And you guys always deliver. This was a builder series package. So it was transmission, front accessory drive, Holley EFI system, and the Gen 3 Hemi. It made my job way easy to just slap this in a really nice handling car and just enjoy all the benefits that your guys' engines provide.
Absolutely. So I think we were just talking, we said this is the third year in a row that Blueprint Engines has had a RestoMod in the booth at SEMA, and we're like, hey, let's go. You told me these are the vehicles I have available. I was like, let's do it.
Yeah.
We're gonna squeeze them in here, make all three fit, cover all the bases, GM, Ford, Chrysler compatible.
Yep.
And yeah, we're starting here, Gen 3 Hemi, offer it both naturally aspirated and supercharged. We've talked, the supercharged ones are a little spicy.
Very spicy, not a little.
Yeah, so.
They're Hellcat killers, that's for sure.
Exactly. But what I love about this is it's a manual.
Yeah.
Right, so Blueprint Engines does offer Trimic 5-speed, Trimic 6-speed, or automatic.
Yep. And the beauty of this is the TKX, which is fairly new from Tremic, that 5-speed fits in the stock trans tunnel.
Yeah,
which
you don't have to modify it.
Another thing, you guys made my life
helps you,
easier.
right?
Exactly.
Right.
So if you're the builder out there and you're looking for something that is going to be a breeze to install, the TKX is just a no-brainer, and you guys offer it in a lot of the builder series, combined with a power plant from Ford, GM, or Dodge in this case. So.
Yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of GM,
bump over.
We'll bump over to this Chevelle. This is the one we recently finished, and we wanted to debut here at SEMA in your guys' booth. It is your guys' 427. That is our go-to engine on anything GM based, whether it's a supercharged one, a naturally aspirated one. These things just get with it. I mean, a 427, just the number already makes you feel good, right? But yeah, we bought basically a long block. So a departure from the builder series is we were able to dress it up the way we wanted and just kind of style it out a little bit, but you guys offer it fully dressed as well. We did put components that you guys work with. This has a CVF front accessory drive, so it's all American made, really high quality components, and it's an LS. It's the most prodigious swap that you see today. It's if you have a Chevy, that's kind of where you gravitate towards. But I will say, you guys are casting your own LS blocks.
Correct.
Now, and so that is a departure. These are not remanufactured or seasoned blocks, as they call them.
You're right. So now we do offer a brand new LS3 compatible block. It's a high strength, almost LSX style, boost friendly, longer skirts. So it handles, it's casted and machined for that longer stroke. And I love what you touched on. We offer everything from that long block all the way up to the full Builder Series package, power steering, alternator, AC, transmission. So what we want to do is have something at the horsepower level you want and something at the price level you want. And then have all those different variations. But I agree. What I love about this is you took an LS and you hid the coils, you made it look the way you want. And that's what I don't know if everyone knows, you can take an LS and you can still make it look like a big block. You can make it look like an Oldsmobile or a Pontiac. There's all these options out there to dress up that LS for the unique look that you're wanting.
100%, and we've seen it, we've done it. We have a shop truck named Blue that we put like a cast aluminum manifold and ran like a 4150 style fuel injection, an old school air cleaner, and everyone loves it. And we were able to get a 67 Corvette 427 badge because you guys make this 427 is the perfect number for it. We put it on there. It's all old school vibes now, but all new technology from you guys, and they perform. Once again, these things deliver. They came with a dyno sheet that was more than we expected, more than we bargained for sure, and that's been kind of a theme. We've always gotten a dyno sheet that just put a smile on our face as soon as we see it, because if you are buying one of these, you're buying it for the advertised horsepower, and that's usually more than enough. Not usually, every time. So that's what's cool, is any of our advertised horsepower is a guaranteed minimum. That is one of the steps in the last step, which is the run and test it on the dyno. That's the last step in quality control. If it doesn't make that horsepower number, we know that something's not correct, and we're gonna go and investigate that before it ever leaves our building. And I think that's another thing to touch on, is even that long block. So this didn't, when you got it from us, it didn't have an intake, didn't have the electronics, didn't have any of that. We're gonna put all of that on, and even in the long block, we're gonna run and test it on the dyno before it ever ships to you. Perfect, yeah, that's the beauty of it. And then all of that said, one of the biggest things, one of the big reasons we initially really only wanted to feature your engines in our builds is the warranty. It is just unheard of in the industry to make horsepower and to have a warranty, and you can count on it. I mean, that warranty is like not a joke. You guys have it there for a reason. It's quality, right? Yeah, so huge difference is we want to make sure there's always 100% customer satisfaction. We're going to do whatever we need to make sure you are happy. We do everything we can to test them, but they are mechanical. So every now and then there might be something that fails. You call us direct, we're going to make it right. We're going to work with you or the shop of your choice, and we're going to figure it out. That's perfect. Should we go check out some of the other stuff? Let's do it. Let's hop in the shade. Right away, we talked already about the 426 because that is in the Charger. This is basically what we saw on the crate exactly when it showed up to us, and that's basically how you see it on the car. So that made our job really easy. When it comes to Mopar stuff, there's not a ton of support outside of Mopar. So it's really cool that you guys were able to deliver that. It's a perfect fit for that car. And we're gonna be shooting a lot of videos featuring the engine, the driving experience in that car. So if you guys are interested looking at a Gen 3 Hemi, make sure you check out Blueprint, and we can show you the proof in all of our driving videos as well. Correct, and even on the Gen 3 Hemis, everything we do is new block, new heads, all new internals. And this is basically kind of it starts as like a 6.2, so it's like a Hellcat block is what you're starting with? It's the BGE block. Okay. And then this thing has stroker internals to get that cubic inch displacement, right? That's correct, fully forged. So we do offer this one naturally aspirated and supercharged. Perfect. Yeah. One of the things I really wanted to talk about and touch on was something that is an award-winning new product that you guys are known for being the leader in the game of engines, but something has to put that power back down through the drivetrain. And when it comes to innovation, you guys are always on top. This is an 8-speed. It is. So like you touched on, definitely the authority in crate engines. We've been doing engines for 43 years. Wow. But several years back, we started offering the full engine transmission packages. But we've always used
someone else's transmission.
Okay.
So we partnered with ZF. We worked with them for 2 years on all the calibrating. And so this is a brand new 8-speed transmission. So you get your brand new engine with a brand new transmission. You're gonna have all the electronics, so it talks to each other. Everything's calibrated, everything's ready to go, taking all the guesswork out of it. And right now, this is a phenomenal value.
Yeah.
For under $20,000, I can provide you a complete drivetrain package, power steering, alternator, AC, LS3 compatible engine, over 500 horsepower, and a brand new 8-speed transmission for $19,999.
This is crazy because if you have a classic car, any model year of car, you cannot get this performance level out of a new vehicle at that price point. And if anyone's ever been in a car, more gears the better. I mean, if this thing is calibrated perfectly, it's gonna keep this thing in the power band, and the power, the way it delivers it is gonna feel much stronger than you would in a different application. 8 speeds is definitely the way of the future, right?
It is. And then the efficiency, because 7th and 8th are both overdrives.
Okay, so you have double overdrive. So if you're that guy that wants to go 120 miles an hour on a long trip, you're not gonna be stressing the drivetrain components. And this is as a complete package. You know, what I will say about these transmissions is that they're not physically that big on the top. So there might not be as many tunnel modifications to get that transmission in the car, but also there's always gonna be a trade-off. I mean, this is a lot of gears, so if you do have to modify your tunnel, or if you're thinking about it, I would say go for it with this. You know, this is the ultimate reason to do it.
Correct.
And if you get a complete package system like this from you guys, takes all the guesswork out. I mean, if you were the guy, you know, in your garage trying to figure out how to make this power, how to make this trans work, you would just be banging your head against the wall. We figure let you guys do all the R&D, and then that way when it shows up to your door, you know, you're a couple weekends away from being ready to play, basically.
That's the best part, like you said, the R&D. So we have an extensive engineering, quality control, and R&D department. We've actually had this package in a vehicle for over a year. One of our engineers drives it back and forth to work every day, takes it out testing, and that was part of the whole calibrating process. He went over to Italy. We brought engineers from Italy over to here. Great partnership. Wanted to make sure that when we're providing it to the customer, that it's literally tier 1 OE quality.
That's incredible, and that's really hard to find. So, I mean, you guys are always breaking ground, and that's why this won an award. What did this win?
Yeah, so we're honored. We won by our peers here at SEMA this Builder Series package with the 8-speed automatic LS3 compatible engine. Won Best of the Year for the street rod and custom vehicle.
Okay, perfect. And that's right up the alley of the guys that are looking at this kind of stuff.
That's exactly what it's designed for.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I love it. This is kind of the star of the show. It's hard to think that something that is LS related is still going to be breaking new ground, but somehow you guys managed to do it.
Well, our founder, Norris Marshall, is always an innovator. Our history is we started off with seasoned 350 blocks, and then we bored and stroked them and made them 383s. That was 20 plus years ago. That's where we started. So we know if you're using a seasoned product that you'll eventually run out.
Yeah.
So we were using a GM housing transmission.
Yep.
Completely rebuilding it, building it to our specs. Still an amazing option, but we know when you're using a core, you'll eventually run out. So Norris wanted to make sure that we had a brand new option that we're not going to run out of. We're not going to have to change anything, and that it's going to provide what the customer wants. And the customer wants a modern transmission.
Right. Yeah, and a lot of, you know, the highest end modern cars that are still, you know, powerful rear wheel drive are using this transmission. You see this a lot in some of the highest, you know, when Mercedes-Benz or some other manufacturer wants a transmission, they're not going to compromise. And so the engineering for the internals and stuff is there.
It is. It's German engineering.
Very
Absolutely.
cool. Very
Absolutely.
cool. And then this is, like we spoke about before, there's options. So like if you want to dress your engine up, I mean, this is 530 horsepower. That is no joke. And in a compact package, an LS fits in whatever you want it to fit in, and the price point. I don't think you can get that power level with the warranty at that price point out of
there is a reason why we are LS swapping the world.
Yep.
For the reliability and the horsepower and the value, you just can't beat it.
You can't beat it.
And so, once again, we want to provide different price points, different horsepower levels, and check all the boxes. But this is a good visual to show you, even this engine, I put it on a dyno and I run and test it. So we'll put everything on required to run it, and then we'll pull it off. We'll make sure that it's 100% ready before we're going to ship it to you or the customer.
This is even an option too for the guy who has already LS swapped his car and maybe blew it up or wants more power. He has all the surrounding components that he still wants to use.
Yeah.
So he can buy this and just upgrade his package.
Yeah, you're going to upgrade to the rectangle port. Yeah, so say you have, you know, an older style LS, maybe you have cathedral ports, like you said, it doesn't even have to be one that's blown up, you're just chasing more horsepower.
Right.
You cannot build the engine for less than what we can sell you a brand new one with a warranty.
Yeah, gone are the days of ordering every individual part and crossing your fingers and the machine shop calling you and telling you to send it back. And yeah, you guys take care of all of that. So let's move into something that is like just kind of a legend, and this is like what hot rodding was built on, right?
Yeah.
This small block Chevy.
Small block.
But you guys are able to get a lot of improvements out of the casting, priority oiling in the mains, and then
main oiling.
Big cubic inches. This is a 396 small block.
Yeah, 396 small block. And what's unique about this is actually part of our Motorsports division.
Okay.
So last year at PRI, we launched a Motorsports division. Everyone knows us as Blueprint Engines. That's street performance. We also have an entire line of Blueprint Motorsports now. So that's grassroots racing. So bracket racing for drag racing, dirt track, autocross, drifting, off-road.
Wow.
We're going to continue to provide more and more options for that. So this one is a 396. We've done it for years in the street performance. And then when we made it a Motorsports division, we put an even spicier cam in it.
Okay.
Completely forged internals like it's always had, but bumped the horsepower level up. Now in the Motorsports division, you do need to run a higher octane, but that's what it's designed for.
Okay.
Street performance, there's still going to be 91 octane.
Yeah.
We have a few, you know, the 1,015 horsepower 632, that does take 93, but almost all of them on this Blueprint engines is 91. So we're going to build street pump or street performance, pump gas friendly. But yeah, watch for more Motorsports options.
Very cool. Yeah, all the racers out there too. One of the most expensive parts of racing is swapping those bullets in and out. So you want something reliable, and you want something with the support that you guys give, the R&D that's already done in it. This takes the guesswork out. It puts it at like, this also brings the affordability. A lot of people can't race because of those costs incurred.
You're 100% correct. You know, it's the cost for everything, unfortunately, has just continued to go up. What we are able to do, since we're already have an assembly line, we have vertical integration where we're CNCing the blocks in-house. Most of the components are ours. We're able to keep that cost down and pass that on the consumer. So there was so much transfer over from the motorsport, from the street performance side to the motorsports, that we're able to pass that savings on.
It just makes sense. Why not? You know, if people are racing with your engines already, give them a race engine.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so speaking of basically giving them a race engine.
Yes.
This is the big dog, right? This is the 632. This is the one that, you know, the internet has made 1,000 horsepower seem like common.
It's the new 500, right?
But I will say, like, if it's double 500, think about that. It's actually double 500, because that is a lot of power, and the way it comes in a big block is just, that's going to hit your chest, basically.
It is. I say, you know, everyone's like, how's it sound? It's like, it's not just about how it sounds, it's how does it feel?
Yeah, exactly. That's the hard part to describe, is that this thing has a presence when it's running, you know. But the 632, this is kind of your guys' big block, right? This is the top dog in that line.
It's a tall deck 632, completely obviously forged internals. It's got the bigger heads, it's got the bigger everything, the best of the best, 1,015 horsepower. And you're right, this is for the individual that wants to go bracket racing or just wants ultimate performance.
Yeah.
what I don't want people to forget though is we also have an 815 horsepower 632 that's 100% streetable. We have a lot of individuals that do, you know, coast to coast cruises, hot rod tour or power tour, and all of that. And so it just does really good.
Nice, and that's going to be easier to manage as far as pump gas and making the engine run cool, and basically just a more manageable power level. I mean, I know that 1,000 horsepower is probably fun, but I can guarantee you 800 horsepower is fun as well. So
it is
very cool.
Yeah, that's what I try to tell a lot of customers. The difference between 815 and 1,000 is just how much faster you're going to destroy the rear tires.
Yeah.
Because on the street, you're really not going to get it to hook up.
No, and they're all going to put a smile on your face. So although this is really like the top dog as far as performance, you know, there is a trade-off, right? It's like, how much do you want to drive it? Where do you want to drive it? What is the use of your car? And you guys tailor to all of that. So different uses. You guys have an engine with that in mind.
Yeah, and that's what's awesome is they can always call us direct, 308-236-1010. Have an excellent sales team and tech team, and we're just going to ask the questions. What's it going in? What are you wanting to use it for? What is your long-term goal?
Right.
And we're going to help you make that best decision to see what engine fits best for your needs.
Very cool. And I will say again, I keep saying it, this price point is crazy for 1,000 horsepower. There's no other way to 1,000 horsepower without spending that kind of money. And it's naturally aspirated, which is just insane to me. But this thing, like, you know, obviously everyone gravitates straight towards it, but there's a lot of good stuff still going on. You said a lot of the history of the company started with 383 strokers. That is the quintessential small block that everybody, you know, that was around in the 80s, in the 90s. This was the hot ticket. You had this, you were a hot rodder. You had probably the coolest car in the high school parking lot if you had a 383 stroker, but this is taking that to the next level.
It is. So, like we touched on originally, would have done it with a seasoned block, hotter cam. Well, we've literally built tens of thousands of these. We have a proven formula, and because there's so much quantity, we're going to be able to source the parts in stock or in high quantities and keep that cost down. But small blocks, even though you're seeing an increase on multi-port fuel injection and LS, and what's awesome about our small block is we're going to offer it carbureted. We're going to offer it throttle body fuel injected, so a Holly Sniper 2. And then we also offer it multi-port fuel injected.
Okay.
So if you're wanting more of an LS style fuel injection, a multi-port fuel injection, I have that option for you also.
That's very cool because, you know, different people at this point are at different levels of what they want to tune. And so you guys cover the gamut. One of the nice things about these small blocks too is that there's still a lot of cars running around with a small block. A lot of the most popular platforms to build on are small block powered, and a lot of times the LS swap, basically it's the stuff around it that you have to change that kind of adds up, and it's not in your head as far as the budget. And this is a way to get that power and retain. If you have a lot of nice parts, you can put this in, and just like you said, if you're chasing power, there's a solution that you guys have for every aspect of it.
So 383 is the most common. It's going to put you at about 436 horsepower. But what a lot of people don't know is we do everything from a 327, 350, 383, 400, 427, and even a 454 small block. So you can get over 500 horsepower in a small block. And like you touched on, Chris, that doesn't mean you have to change your transmission. You can reuse your front drive. Motor mounts are going to be the same. So it's a lot more of affordable and easier install.
Right. Yeah, and it's it can be like a fresh engine for a fresh build, or it can be an upgrade for an existing build. And offering all those displacements too. A lot of people, if you've been around small blocks and you've driven them, those different displacement engines behave very differently. I mean, you have a stick shift car, you might want a lower displacement one that you can wind out a little bit more, and the power bands are different. And the nice thing about the dyno sheet is you can see all that, and if you call your guys' tech department, they can walk you through all that so you can make the right choice for your driving habits and what you're looking for out of your car.
And on our website, blueprintengines.com, there's a sample dyno sheet for every engine model. We're also going to give you the recommended stall, all the different recommendations for the additional parts, the correct balancer, correct flex plate or flywheel.
Perfect. Yeah, I know every engine we've got from you guys, it's comprehensive. If I'm wondering, what plugs do I put in here? It's all listed there. What oil do I want to put in here? It's all listed there. Yeah. Takes the guesswork out. Okay, let's move into the Ford stuff and we'll touch on it because the last car we brought is a Mustang.
Yeah.
And you have 2 small blocks here. Let's start with this one because this is a 302 that's kind of tailored for a Bronco, right?
It is. When we came out with the Bronco engine, a lot of individuals were using just our standard. At that time, it would have been a 306.
Okay.
Because we were doing season blocks. So another thing to touch on, we have our own compatible small block Ford block.
Wow.
It has reinforced webbing, thicker cylinder walls. So
okay.
The original 302 were only good to about 500 horsepower.
Yeah.
You literally split them down the middle.
Yep.
Our block is going to be able to handle more than 1,000 horsepower.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so when we redesign it, we improve on it.
Yeah.
But what's unique about the Bronco engine is we cam it for a Bronco application.
Okay.
So larger tires, lower RPM for the power band and the torque curve, so you can rock crawl, but it's still, 370 horsepower, so almost triple what the vehicle originally came with. So when you do put on those oversized tires, you have the right power.
Well, and that's important to touch on because what car it's going in is gonna decide like what that powertrain's built for.
Yeah.
So if you guys factored all that in, I mean, that's a huge advantage for the classic Bronco guys. They're always chasing more power, but the wheelbase and the size of those dictates, kind of how you're able to use them.
Yeah,
So,
you don't need to go crazy.
You don't want to go crazy.
Higher center of gravity,
exactly.
Shorter wheelbase. But yeah, and then even on this transmission application, we're going to have it set up for a 4-wheel drive.
Perfect. And so the 347, so in the Ford world, like you talked about, piston walls were not always very thick. You hear a lot of guys when they go 347, oh, my car overheats pretty quick now, Yeah. But you guys knew all that going into this, redesigned it, and now it's a comfortable 347 that's not going to have any issues.
Unfortunately, the 302s were known for overheating.
Yep.
But yeah, so when we design it, we're going to make it where we're going to increase the horsepower, but not have overheating issues.
Right. This is a perfect engine. So as you guys know, we're giving away this 69 Mustang right now, and it has this exact engine in it, paired with a 5-speed transmission from Tremec, and something like my favorite part, the power delivery is super smooth. It's everything I expect out of a small block Ford, but they sound really good.
Yeah.
The one thing I will give Fords over a couple of the other brands is that sound coming out of the tailpipes, they've nailed it.
Yeah.
And so the Ford 302, if you're just listening to pure exhaust note, it's something that everyone knows when it screams by you at a high RPM. They sound great.
And I love you touched on the sound. A lot of customers asking, hey, how does it sound? So when we're designing an engine, we're designing it for street performance. We understand the customer wants that lumpy sound. So all the Blueprint engines have that aggressive cam sound, but we also tailor it to where they're going to be, in most applications, they're going to be brake friendly and stall converter friendly.
Okay,
so we try to find that perfect balance of still having enough vacuum, but sounding amazing.
Yeah, that's perfect because the normal street car owner, that's hard to find that balance. There's a lot that goes into figuring all that out as far as vacuum, as far as making a stall converter work that's friendly on the street. It's something you see a lot of people end up not driving their cars that much because they didn't get that balance just right.
Yes.
And like I said, this was actually outfitted with one of your guys' builder series, and the original builder of it was not a guy that was constantly doing them, so you guys took a lot of the guesswork out. He told me that he was looking for a reliable combo, that he didn't have to do a lot of background investigation on like who built this, what machine shop is this, like where are these parts coming from. He just wanted to take the guesswork out of it. He loved your guys' warranty. I mean, it's an incredible warranty. We are still not anywhere close to reaching the limits of it on this car, but I'm sure some happy winner will be able to get to experience all that.
The winner will get to go have a lot of fun.
I'll give them your personal number, but I don't think they'll ever need it. Well,
awesome.
Very cool. If you are looking to upgrade your power plant, don't look anywhere else. Take the guesswork out of it. Blueprint is just the leader in the industry, so whatever flavor you're working with, they have something for you. So thank you for watching. Thank you, Kel, for taking the time today. And thank you for the engines powering all these RestoMods.
Yeah.
It is something that we always love because that's what puts the smile on our face when we drive these, is the horsepower you guys provide.
Well, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, guys, we're here with Will in the Silversport Transmissions booth. We had to stop by because we've used your guys' products extensively. Every time we're building a muscle car, we want overdrive. So the good way to get that is through you guys because you offer tons of really nice upgrade products to adapt overdrive transmissions in the cars. Most times stick shift. We've gotten an automatic from you guys too that was actually really nice. It's in the Chevelle that we have outside in the booth. But you have some of the cool products you guys offer laid out, and it covers the gamut as far as anyone who wants to swap a transmission, a manual transmission, into their classic car. You guys pretty much provide all the stuff necessary.
We try to cover A to Z, you know, so it's your one-stop shop.
Perfect.
Right? So that's why we have our hydraulics, you know, different bearings. We even do drive shafts, you know, different shifters for whatever your field is like and whatever the application may be. We may have to move that shifter location so it comes up the factory hole. We want to make sure that when you're in the car, it looks like it's a bone stock factory application with a new overdrive, you know, which everyone likes, and obviously different shifter handles, you know, clutches, mounts. We have everything.
Everything to do that swap, basically A to B. So that's a big reason we use you guys so much is because a lot of the parts are engineered application specific.
100%.
So like you said, when we get a kit from you guys, we know it's for the car that we're working on. We're not mixing and matching parts, and everything lands where it's supposed to be. I see all the different shifter handle options, and a lot of the cool stuff as far as like getting the ergonomics right of where that shifter lands.
Well, that's one of the things we do at Silversport is we actually get an application, you know, if it's whatever red or whatever it may be. We actually do that install in-house. So if we have to make any changes to it or if there's any modifications to it, we actually do that in-house. And if there's things that we have to do to the tunnel in some applications, that comes part of the kit. I mean, there's instructions that roll over the bell housing. It tells you where to drill everything. It is a one-stop shop. You get everything, all the bells and whistles needed to do the job.
I have experienced that. It's a template that you use so that you're not just randomly cutting up your car, right?
We don't want to do that.
Right, exactly. Perfect. And then the other thing is that you guys are obviously a Tremec dealer.
100%.
So everything that's really cool from them, you guys work around that packaging.
Sure.
And everything from their 6-speed to their new TKX. And everything in between.
And that's the thing is whether it be a TKX 5-speed or a Magnum 6-speed, we have everything for it. And each application may change a little bit. I mean, obviously the TKX being a smaller transmission fits in the tunnel a lot easier than the Magnum does. But we have everything for it. It doesn't matter what you have, we have the answer.
Very cool. And in the same booth, because you guys are all partnered up now,
sure we are.
McLeod clutches.
Sure.
So that is that sounds like a natural partnership.
100%. Well, the Wharton brand. So we have all the different brands from Wharton.
Perfect.
And it's a driveline company, and that's what we focused on. That's our engineering, and then this everything we do is to engineer the best driveline for the end user.
So we've been talking a lot about like stuff that people are going to use for a RestoMod, but you have a few things that are pretty much racing applications. Back behind us here too. So any of the drag car guys, they're probably totally familiar with your guys' product.
That's our funny car right over there.
There you go. So that thing looks like it means business right
that's
there.
12,000 horsepower. So we got everything covered from 12,000 horsepower down.
I think that covers pretty much everybody then. Well, very cool. Thank you for showing us some of this stuff.
No
and if
problem.
you guys are looking to upgrade your transmission, if you want to keep up with highway speeds, definitely check out Silversport Transmission. They got you covered.
That.
All right, guys, we're in the Wilwood Brakes booth for one simple reason, is that it's all we use in the shop for our RestoMod giveaway cars. You guys have all the bases covered. There's a ton of applications and a ton of cool features, and we'll talk about. Let's just get started. First, I do want to touch on some points of why we use Wilwood brakes. And the big reason, we talked about a little bit off camera, the background of why we started using you guys is we know a combination that works at this point. I'm a big proponent of manual brake cars because it takes a lot of the complexity out of engineering a brake system. A lot of variables that you can't always control with a custom car are taken care of by manual brakes. But we found a bore size, thanks to your guys' advice, and a caliper size that is repeatable and is going to create a repeatable pedal feel and stopping power And that is something I think that the custom car world and the classic car world really needs to lean into as far as braking systems, performance braking systems, as far as the actual components are head and shoulders above what they used to be even 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
And you guys bring the best of the best products. You can see your booth is full of just really high-end components. You guys are an engineering company, but matching all those components can get complicated for people. And so something we talked about was the why we use these brakes. And do you hear any feedback like that from shops building cars, that they want repeatability, they've gotten good results, and they want to keep that formula going, right?
It's super important, and like we were saying, I don't like it to call it a cookie cutter, but once you find a combination of parts that all work well, right? You get to a point where you're working with a wheel company that fit the brakes you're using.
Yes.
That all fits the suspension you're using.
Right.
You have variable different tires for what the customer is going to expect out of the performance.
Yes.
When you start getting to that point, it's kind of like paint and body, right?
Yeah.
You know you need to use these things together so that you don't have problems down the road, right?
And I notice every time I get a brake kit from you guys, it comes with an engineering diagram for clearances, because that's a big thing. When you're ordering wheels and tires, are they going to fit? Are you rolling the dice? You know, just guessing with a wheel you can't return, maybe?
And the kit will even tell you how much, most of the time, how much the wheel is going to be pushed out or even in.
Yeah.
And we have worked so hard the last 10 to 15 years to keep everything right at zero.
Yeah, that's
it's
a big
super
one, right?
important, right?
Yeah.
Because back in the day, if we made an 11-inch 4-piston brake kit and it went on a Mustang and fit 15-inch wheel, you could go in or out a little bit.
Yeah.
But when you get to 17, 18, 20, on a truck like we were talking about earlier, 22s, you can't move it out or it's not going to give you the aesthetic you want.
And even if you have an existing wheel and tire combo, but you want to upgrade your brakes, well, now you're narrowing yourself if you're changing the track width. So you guys do a lot of research and engineering on, you know, like your guys' even the hub sections of the cars. You guys machine design everything in-house to keep that. And one of the new features, like there's so much in this booth I want to talk about, but one of the newest things we've used from you guys is the electronic parking brake. You know, traditionally speaking, when you're retrofitting a car that had drum brakes, you only have a few options for engaging a parking brake. Sometimes you're trying to get the correct ratio out of an original pedal and get it to engage with cables, and there's routing issues.
Or even worse, a handbrake.
A handbrake that you're going to stretch the cables out and readjust and everything. So we just recently installed this on a Chevelle, and it took so much time out of setting up the parking brake situation. And you guys have a really nice switch that integrates nicely anywhere, and all the wiring's all pre-routed for everybody. It just comes with a nice, easy to mount module, and you're showing me, for display purposes, you have a really cool touch screen, but eventually you'll get a display screen, but it's really nice. It's just one touch, one flick of a switch. You're either clamped or unclamped.
That's it. And the thing that I also like to tell a lot of my customers that are building higher end vehicles is it's a theft deterrent.
Yeah, this is you know, I've even heard of mechanics working on modern cars, because this is like what OE technology offers these days. And if a battery dies, sometimes they're trying to figure out how to unclamp these because the car is immobile, basically.
And there's so many people that I talk to and they go, wow, I had no idea. And I go, the next thing is hide the switch.
Right, yeah.
You know, depending on the level of car you're building, I don't want to have that switch sitting on my dashboard. You know, maybe put it in the center console, put it underneath your seat. That way, if somebody really wants your vehicle, it's going to be that much tougher for them to seal it.
And it's funny you say that. Our Chevelle, we did mount this in the center console. It's a factory center console. You open the lid, it's just a perfect spot for it right there. And it's nice and classy, and it's labeled very clear. This is like foolproof, basically. I like this setup, and packaging-wise, it's really good. I mean, it just has a lot of benefits, and it's something that, like, you know, a stick shift car, this really helps, because that's part of the issues with stick shift cars.
So many of our customers that, you know, pro touring customers, they're building cars at a higher level. They're expecting the car to do a lot of newer amenities for them.
Yes.
And so many of them say, I don't need a parking brake. And I'm like, yeah, you do. You want to put that car in the trailer and set the parking brake and not have to lean over and do all these things and tie the car down. And they go, wow, you're totally right. And I'm all, this is the easiest way to get there.
Yep, 100%. Yeah, it's easy to think of a car living in a completely flat surface environment, but the second you get into a real world situation, you want a parking brake, this is going to be what you want. So I know you guys have a ton of new stuff too. Is there anything special today other than, I mean, I really like this, but is there anything you guys brought that is just like stealing the show or that you want to talk about?
So we actually got runner-up for best street rod and muscle car segment.
Okay.
And it's for our new 2-inch drop spindle.
Okay.
So you've probably used our Pro spindle that's come on like Art Morrison chassis forever, right? So that was a pin type with our billet hub. Well, we made a new forged aluminum upright with a bolt-in hub. And it's ABS compatible.
Okay, so it has all the sensor electric components built into it.
And the really nice thing is how many of those customers, and we just had one of them that is in the Battle of the Builders. When he started on the car, he used our pin type. Before the event for SEMA, he switched over to the new one because he's going to put ABS in the car afterwards. So super imperative that we made all of the brakes that were already on that car fit onto this new spindle.
But you're integrating the better type of bearing mount technology, the swappable hub. I noticed like even just upgrading to your guys' Pro spindle, before it was like Mustang 2 spindle was kind of the way to go.
It's based off of Mustang 2.
Right, but you guys took it to the next level where it's a lot stronger.
Way stronger.
It's lighter in most cases. It's serviceable. And then you guys took it to the next level again with the all forged piece.
This new spindle is so bitchin'.
You see that on so many modern supercars is that they've understood that having the hub removable is better long term for performance. Very nice. So I love it. We're gonna go look. Where is that spindle?
It's right over here. It's literally the same as the existing 2-inch drop.
Oh, okay.
You see it now, huh?
Yeah.
So same steering arm, same bracketry, same rotor, same hat, same caliper. The only thing we have to do is add a center register ring in this case. That's all you need to purchase. But it comes with a wiring loom.
Wow.
So it makes it ABS compatible.
That is really cool.
It's really been a good new product for us, and we're super stoked to win the runner-up on it.
I love it. And I have started seeing like at the really high levels of like the Pro Touring cars, ABS is trickling in to some of these cars.
Well, you brought up all the Optima cars, and all the fast guys are on ABS out there.
Right, yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, we're at the point now where that technology can do a little bit better than just the driver feel at this point,
absolutely.
right?
It's doing so many things for those guys that are being super competitive that I even found out today that 2 out of the top 6 guys, the brakes were working so good, they were trying to ask me how are we going to make them not work as good.
Oh, wow.
Jokingly.
Yeah.
But they're like, we have to reinvent how we're stopping sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Because it's stopping so much better because you just mat it and the car doesn't.
Yeah. I love it. Well, the other cool thing is your guys' optional caliper finishes. I know you guys have been doing that for a long time. Most people don't know that. You have a whole catalog of different colors that you can customize for any car, so it's not just red or black. You guys have a ton of options, and you can see it in all the calipers here. Every one of them is a different color, so just next level. Like you said, your guys' stuff, you know it works. It's engineered really well, and now it's looking good too, so it's just one of those things where it's a no-brainer. If you guys are looking to upgrade your brakes, Wilwood has everything, you know, from the highest level on down for your daily driver, for your classic car, and it's always cool to come see all the new things you guys are doing.
Yeah, we really appreciate you coming by and hanging out for a little bit. Thanks.
Appreciate it. Likewise. Thanks.